Welcome back. It's so good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So welcome back, everybody. This is the second in a series of DIR, RDI videos, comparison, contrast, whatever. I'm Josh Fader. I'm Director of Research at ICDL, the Interdisciplinary Council on Developmental and Learning Disorders. I'm a child psychiatrist and child and family psychiatrist. That's what I do all day. And then in addition, I work with the graduate school teaching and also do some research and also some tech development. And Brooke?
My name is Brooke Wagner, and I am an RDI program certified consultant. I'm the director of the Autism Group, which is a local San Diego-based agency that supports individuals on the spectrum and focus primarily using the RDI program to implement supports in the classroom, in the home, using parent training in our OT clinic as well, and doing speech therapy.
So Brooke and I have been meeting for a couple of years now, on and off, every several weeks or a couple months, talking about DIR and RDI and how they compare and how we use them in our practices. We share clients and we enjoy our collegiality. So we got together and did that first video, and we're very grateful for the feedback we got from that. Mostly positive. I think people liked it, which is why we're back. And also some great critiques, including technique. Sorry we're not a professional video company here, but hopefully it's a little bit better than last time. And also wanting a little bit more clarity and direction of what we do in these videos. Today we're just going to do a quick 5-minute topic or so on intersubjectivity, which we'll define in our own ways, and the development of internal motivation. So let me set this up for you. Lots of times we've got people who are trying to help them learn and communicate and function better in the world. And one of the big problems we have is that the person isn't necessarily very motivated. And we know that there are a number of studies out there, both in the business world and in the world of education, that demonstrate that if you're only using a kind of reward-based behavioral approach to helping someone improve their skills and abilities, that they don't necessarily develop not only generalization, the ability to do the same thing in other settings, but they also don't necessarily develop internal motivation, that need, desire, drive. In fact, if you conform well to a behavioral program, lots of times you're passively compliant, and we see that on the educational plans and the mental health plans of many of our clients, where it says compliance is the goal. Well, you know, that makes sense if you need to follow the rules for a fire drill or something like that, but if you need to adapt to the world and you need to figure things out on your own, and you need to use experiences from one place in a new setting, that doesn't work as well. You really need to have that internal motivation so that you can adapt what you've got, try it out, and do things. So that's the idea, would you agree, of developing internal motivation? And then, at least from my sense, the reason the word intersubjectivity comes into play, I know it's a big one, and while this video is for parents and professionals, not even all professionals walk around saying the term intersubjectivity all day. But what that speaks to, and I really want to hear your thoughts on this, Brooke, is the idea that when you're in some kind of interaction with somebody, the interaction is co-created, you're impacting each other's ideas in moment-to-moment, very subtle ways. And so when you try to help someone develop better social communication, we try to pay a lot of attention to that in DIR. What is happening moment to moment between us? How are you affecting me? How am I affecting you? And how does that work to help us develop ideas together? And so then the connection from that to internal motivation is it's really the conduit from which the outside world, which is me, enters the other person, and they're impacting me. I'm allowing them in DIR to take the lead for the most part with their ideas, but I'm adding to their ideas, and in this way, we're kind of building things together, and through that, the person becomes more confident in their own competence, even if it's not really spoken, just in the play that we're doing or the interaction that we're doing, to be able to solve problems, take on the world, usually in the context of relationships with other people. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. I think that was so well said, and I think it illustrates, our focus as well. I think that one of the big areas in an RDI program program is that we're working with the parents to kind of develop a dance between their child, so that they learn to really monitor their child and adjust based on the feedback that they're getting to ensure that they're both mentally and emotionally on the same page, and not in a way that they're directing their child, but in a way that they're creating opportunities to really have that fluid back and forth co-regulatory process happening. And we like to think about it as an appraisal. We want the child to be able to appraise the moment on a moment-to-moment basis, and we want the parents to be able to appraise as well, so that we can help the parents learn how to carefully adjust support on an ongoing basis to allow the child to have opportunities to feel competent and successful and to learn and to grow, and not just feel like the child is being compliant, as you mentioned, but actually thinking and problem solving and responding to their parents in a very fluid and dynamic way.
So you used the term co-regulatory, and you sort of described, I think, what you meant by that. But can you give maybe a little quick vignette example of what that might look like between a parent and child in your everyday clinical work?
Sure. I love the idea of a peekaboo game because, peekaboo is so dynamic, and it's not something you would do in a repetitive, static way. It would be something that you would monitor and adjust to. So, for example, if a child is enjoying being able to have a blanket tossed over their face and, the parent is surprising them when pulling it off, then, maybe the child's going to want to try something a little bit different and hide under a beanbag and then have it taken off. Or maybe the parent's going to put it on their head and the child will pull it off. So they're back and forth together in a fluid way. They're monitoring each other and adjusting to each other in the moment so that they can think and then respond. And that's ultimately what we want, is the thinking to happen in the moment so that response is authentic and meaningful to that given situation.
So I'm gonna stick with this idea of co-regulatory and intersubjectivity, and think about it how I might look at that as well. So a child is in my room, maybe they're playing with this, they're just sort of holding it, and maybe I'll start by kind of watching them hold it and hold it and hold it, and I've got a number of options of things I might do. I might try to talk for the whatever it is. I might kind of tug at it a little bit and try to just be part of that interaction a little bit. I might bring my own something into the interaction and see if it comes in. One of the things that we think about when we're trying to work with somebody is lots of times people are really focused in a very small space, and so for it to become a space of shared ideas, sometimes we have to really open up what we're doing physically as well. So lots of times I might do something that's bigger than just this and incorporates what the child's doing as well, so that we're kind of getting out, moving our bodies. And as you say, regulating each other, meaning I'm adjusting to the child, but also trying to woo the child into something different than just, twiddling this or whatever they're doing. And usually, that's maybe a gentle tug or a little bit of getting in the way and a little bit of, oh, we dropped it and now we've got to go get it. We've got to start using our bodies in a more integrated fashion to solve the problem that, the dinosaur fell, or, oh no, what are we going to do? And then work on that together. So I have ideas, the child has an idea. We're trying to put those together. And intersubjectivity means, in some fashion, that we're kind of putting these ideas with each other and we're building on them to problem solve.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think I would add to that something that we might do as well is, in a way, try to invite the child into something, a mutually enjoyable experience. So we might initiate the game ourselves, even a peekaboo game or a game with one of those items, and take the pressure off so that we're not trying to get the child to do something, but just start initiating it ourselves and see if the child might be aware of what we're doing and be interested in joining us in that co-regulatory process.
So that's really interesting, and I know we need to stop in a minute here, but one of the things that sometimes happens is we do have a child who we're trying to woo into some kind of interaction, like on the playground. We'll have playground helpers, hopefully adult supported helpers, and maybe you do this as well, who kind of act as Pied Pipers, who might have some sort of idea of an activity, know about a child who needs some kind of support and is making sure to regulate with that child in a manner that's going to be helpful to the child, but has a pre-planned, semi-structured activity.
Right.
And you'll see in DIR, there are times for floor time, there are times for semi-structured activities, all of them incorporating our knowledge and our cognizance of social communication, of body movement and ability, of sensory processing and modulation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's great, and I think that's something that our children need support in all environments, and especially on the playground where there's so many things going on, and just helping them to even be aware of what's going on in their environment is crucial.
So bring it back. I know we've got to stop. The dinosaur has to go back to his place, and we've got patience to see both of us. But bring that back to the idea of the development of internal motivation and how this process makes that happen in your practice.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that we strongly believe in and try to create for our children that we work with is giving them opportunities to have positive episodic memories. And what we mean by that is we want to have a memory where they learned something, they genuinely learned something, they weren't taught something, but they discovered it themselves, and they had a positive experience, they had a positive emotion attached to it, so that, and not in a static way, in a dynamic way, so that next time something similar comes up, that they're able to apply that information. And we all get an endorphin when we are able to really learn something and achieve something because we did the learning, we did the thinking, not because somebody just told us how to do it. And that's our ultimate goal. And it goes back to what you said initially, that we want our children to be able to apply what they're learning in a new and different, something that's similar but different type of situation. So that's our ultimate goal, is to create that internal motivation, because it genuinely feels good, just as it being a human being. It feels good to make discoveries and to feel like you achieved something. And we believe that our children have that capability, absolutely, and we try to give them opportunities to experience that so that they then want to go out and explore their environment and be curious and want more.
Well said. I think that's enough for today.
Yeah.
It's great to see you guys again. And we'll look forward to your feedback about this, and we'll be back again. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.